3 Chicago teens and 1 young man torture a mentally handicapped 18-year-old on Facebook Live. But one of 4 black Chicagoans binding and partially scalping a mentally handicapped white 18-year-old boy while screaming racial slurs.
Fuck white people, boy.
Fuck
white people,
bitch.
boy.
Goof. Go!
The 4 assailants have now been charged with hate crimes, while the victim is now home safe but is reportedly extremely traumatized. This case has shocked a nation, and Chicago native President Obama has reacted, reminding us we can't pretend racism doesn't exist.
We don't benefit from pretending that racism doesn't exist and hate doesn't exist.
Speaking of the presidency, the attackers also screamed obscenities about Donald Trump at the victim.
What? Fuck Donald Trump! Fuck white people, boy!
Now, let me point out, incoming President Donald Trump could not be unaware of the carnage boiling over in Chicago. After Kanye West and Trump had their surprising meeting at Trump Tower in December, Kanye tweeted that the violence in Chicago was part of their discussion. And violent it is. Chicago has tallied an appalling 762 murders in 2016 and 4,300 shooting victims, more than New York and LA combined, earning the city the infamous nickname Chirac. The cause of the violence has been blamed on both gangs and disarray in the Chicago Police Department, but it's hard to say exactly. What I think I can speak to in all of this is the internet. The fact this all happened on social media and what we can do to help. It's obviously all too easy to lash out online and spread more hate. We here at Hollywood Life have to delete or report racist or violent comments on our videos almost every day. In fact, someone just yesterday threatened to stab me. That's not a joke. Per usual, we reported this to YouTube and moved on. But maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe we are guilty of ignoring the voices of hate like they just don't matter, just because we know they are wrong. So going forward, I want to let everyone know that we are continuing in 2017 our policy to police our YouTube comments for racist hate speech, and we will be reporting all racist bullies to YouTube and permanently banning them from our channel. I know it is not enough to delete these comments. It's not enough to ignore these people. It is not enough to argue. Bullies just come back for more. So we want to pledge that anyone who comes to our channel on YouTube to spread the kind of hate we saw in this shocking Chicago video, black or white, green or brown or purple, is going to be noticed, is going to be reported, and is going to be removed for good. We can't stop their opinions, but we can make sure that they can't ever use our platform to spread their hate. Listen, if black Americans like Kanye West or orange Americans like Donald Trump can meet and have a civil discussion about violence and race, then I know we all can too.
And the first thing we're going to talk about today was the most requested story, one of the most talked about things in the past 12 hours, and that is Meryl Streep versus Donald Trump. This is the world we live in now, people. If you don't know, last night the award show, the Golden Globes, took place, and during that, Meryl Streep gave an acceptance speech. And in her acceptance speech for this Lifetime Achievement Award, she took aim and fired on Donald Trump, although never actually saying his name as if he was Voldemort. And the internet loved and hated this. People saying, "Yas, queen, speak the truth." Other people saying this is ridiculous, you shouldn't even be talking about politics. I personally had a mixed reaction, and if you're a first-timer here, I'm not a big fan of Donald Trump. I'm hoping for the best, but I do have concerns about freedom of speech in this country under Donald Trump, whether it be that he wants to arrest someone for doing a symbolic thing like stepping or burning on the American flag, or the fact that he treats pretty much any negative story about him in the news as completely fake, false, an attack with no merit. And at times there are those, there's manipulations, exaggerations, but there's also a lot of just legitimately true negative things about Donald Trump. And he's now gotten to a point where he's trained a good number of people that support him to see any negative things said about him as a completely false attack. And much of the media has only fed into that because, well, there are legitimate things to hit Donald Trump on. If you slightly stretch the truth, if you exaggerate it, if you present it as just this one thing, but also do not even include how Trump or his supporters are defending him, many will look at it as a blind, baseless attack from the left. I do have that concern, but Meryl Streep's speech last night seemed a little bit all over the place. She gets to this point in the speech where she's like, if you kick us out or get all of the people in this room out of this country, then you're not going to have movies, and you're not going to have art. You're going to have football and mixed martial arts, which isn't even an art.
And if we kick them all out, you'll have nothing to watch but football and mixed martial arts, which are not the arts.
What? One, What did mixed martial arts ever do to you, Meryl Streep? It's like you were making a passionate speech about human rights and you're like, and also, by the way, fuck McDonald's. Meanwhile, Ronald was just over in the corner minding his own damn business. Also, Meryl, if you saw the amount of work that goes into being a high-level Brazilian jiu-jitsu specialist, I think you might not say it's not art, but people can have their own opinions, even though I do believe that what your mindset of what Donald Trump wants to do regarding immigration is kind of different, but everyone's allowed to have their opinion. And then one of the most quoted parts of her speech was this moment where she talked about Donald Trump making fun of a reporter.
It was that moment when the person asking to sit in the most respected seat in our country imitated a disabled reporter, someone he outranked in privilege, power, and the capacity to fight back.
Now, you might have heard about Donald Trump doing this. Maybe you saw the actual clip on the news, or you just saw it in a Hillary Clinton campaign video. If you have not seen what Meryl Streep is referring to, it's this clip.
Written by a nice reporter. Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember.
And this is the reporter that he was talking about. Then this morning, in response to Meryl Streep's speech, Donald Trump went to Twitter, tweeting, "Meryl Streep, one of the most overrated actresses in Hollywood, doesn't know me, but attacked me last night at the Golden Globes. She is a Hillary flunky who lost big. For the 100th time, I never mocked a disabled reporter, would never do that, but simply showed him groveling when he totally changed a 16-year-old story that he had written in order to make me look bad. Just more very dishonest media." And so that's an argument that you may not have heard of. How can you see the clip of him mocking that reporter and go, oh no, he's not making fun of the disabled? Well, many have argued that this is just Trump's mannerism for someone that he thinks is stupid, just not being able to handle the pressure. One of the best examples of that was during the primary. He was talking about Ted Cruz.
Every single debate, you know, I heard Ted's a good debater. I said he is a good debater, but he can't talk, okay? Bad talker. He's a good debater, bad talker. So he's over here. They asked him about waterboarding. They said, Senator Cruz, what do you think of waterboarding? Oh, I don't want to talk about it. You know, he didn't want to talk about waterboarding.
So obviously Ted Cruz doesn't have any disability unless you consider just being just a generally creepy, disgusting person disability, then yes, he would be. And so people argue it's the same mannerism, it's the same point that Donald Trump's getting across. He's not making fun of a disability. It's someone panicking, under pressure, or being called out on something. But the argument against that is, okay, well, Donald Trump wasn't making fun of that specific reporter. He just makes fun of people by acting like they have disabilities. And at that point, when you make it more of a general statement, I feel like it's a far more gray argument. If you want to go after Donald Trump, you can go after Donald Trump cleanly. He has so many documented ridiculous things. But if you don't at least put in the work to look at the argument of why he isn't the biggest monster ever in this specific case, then so many of the people that do support him are going to cast off your coverage as just biased BS. Also, a quick final note I want to make about the Golden Globes and Donald Trump is I love that Jimmy Fallon in the monologue took a shot at Donald Trump. And once again, I'm paraphrasing, but a lot of people wondered what would happen if King Joffrey didn't die in Game of Thrones. Well, we're gonna find out in 12 days. And here's what I'll say about Jimmy Fallon. I've never minded him. I know a lot of people said they were annoyed because he seems so fake and always pandering. It's kind of sealed it for me that Jimmy Fallon is just is a fake, pandering man with no backbone. He's in a super liberal room, so he's like, yeah, let's take shots at Trump. Woo! Meanwhile, cut back to September 15th, 2016. Donald Trump is on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and this moment happened. He's my buddy when he's with me, but when I'm in this room, fuck Trump. Like, love or hate Stephen Colbert, and I love Stephen Colbert, that man sticks to his guns no matter who is in front of him. But at the same time, jokes are jokes. Main point, I would love to know what you think about the Meryl Streep, Donald Trump business. What was your takeaway? Did you love it? You hate it? I'd love to know what you think and why.